Start our program. So again, welcome everyone to RiverWoods Exeter 101 for January today. This is our RiverWoods Exeter sales team. So currently, you as a prospective resident are assigned one of our 3 sales counselors with RiverWoods Exeter. So myself, Dan Witham, Chrissy Katie, who is joining me on today's program, and our colleague, our sales manager here at RiverWoods Exeter, Lisa Clark, who will not be on the call today, but you might be working with her. So that is our sales team of sales counselors. We certainly have other supportive members here as well. For today's program, please note that everyone is on mute, so you don't have to be worried about hearing your voice recorded, other than Chrissy or myself. We do love to get your questions. Certainly save those questions to the very end, because those might be answered throughout the program today. And we have a Q&A box at the bottom of your screen if you are on the Zoom on a computer screen. So Q&A box, put your questions in there. On an iPhone or Android phone, it might be in a different location. So Q&A box at the bottom of your screen for questions. Certainly, we always allow, we love feedback on ways to improve our programming, our RiverWoods Exeter 101 that we do each month. And if you have a suggestion or idea or topic for a future program that you might be interested in, certainly reach out to your sales counselor or RiverWoods Exeter. So when we start about RiverWoods in general, we like to start off our mission and our founders. So RiverWoods was founded by these 2 wonderful women, Mariana Hatch and Rosemary Coffin. They are wonderful people. That one, Mariana, was from Durham, New Hampshire, Rosemary from Exeter, New Hampshire. They met back in the early 80s to find a way of really how people could get more involved in causes and worry about their future in a great community situation with access to healthcare. So RiverWoods Exeter was created, again, opened in 1994, and we'll talk about the history of our campuses here in Exeter. And then Mariana's dream of RiverWoods Durham was opened in 2019, in November of 2019. So a wonderful start to where we are today. Their mission is continuing on to this very moment. Where RiverWoods is today, we are a family of not-for-profit communities. So RiverWoods is a not-for-profit system of communities here. We have RiverWoods Exeter that we'll be talking more in depth about today, RiverWoods Manchester, the northwest side near Hooksett, New Hampshire, and then RiverWoods Durham that opened in November of 2019. We are governed by a CCRC board. You'll hear that term CCRC today quite a bit, which is a Continuing Care Retirement Community Board, which is made up of about 15 members, including a resident from each of our communities. And then they consult with our system CEO, Justine Vogel, who has been with RiverWoods almost from day one. We did establish the RiverWoods Group, which all of our communities, it's a supportive organization that provides professional fee-based services for each of our communities, including finance, human resources, marketing, quality control, and IT, or information technology. One of those fun topics. Each community runs their own finances, so each community has their self-finances, and they will pay the RiverWoods Group for those fee-based services. And RiverWoods Group also funds new ventures and anything that might be an at-risk project that the community might be undertaking. And then we have a system board that focuses on our mission from where we started and any future growth that RiverWoods might be going through. RiverWoods today here in Exeter is made up of 1 community and 3 campuses, or some people call neighborhoods. We have our original campus, The Woods, that was opened in 1994, almost 30 years ago at this point in time. That is a 2-story community made up of 201 apartments of all styles, from studio up to 2 bedrooms. We have the Ridge community, opened 10 years later in 2004, which is 81 apartments and 11 outlying cottages. And then our Boulders community, which came 6 years following the Ridge, 75 apartments and 24 cottages. RiverWoods Exeter is located on 200 acres of land, about 5 minutes from downtown Exeter. So it's a really lovely campus with wonderful walking trails and surrounded by woods in the entire community. When we're talking about CCRCs, and we said we'll mention that word quite a bit today, our continuing care retirement communities, accreditation is really important for many people looking at a community to make sure it really is following guidelines and is going to be around for an eternity or your lifetime that you would live in that community. So RiverWoods Exeter is accredited by a group called CARF, the Commission for Accreditation of Rehabilitation Facilities. CARF is a nonprofit accreditor for health and human services worldwide, and for continuing care retirement communities, only about 10% of them are accredited. Again, we are a not-for-profit community here in Exeter, and about 80% of continuing care retirement communities around the country fall into that same category. Again, in 2019, RiverWoods was reaccredited for another 5 years, and we'll be updating this again in the very near future. And they fall in the top 3% of communities nationwide. And if you are interested in more information on accreditation of RiverWoods Exeter or other communities, please look at www.carf.org. Now I'm going to get into a little more about RiverWoods and what we are. And essentially, we are a long-term care insurance product. Many people think of RiverWoods maybe as a real estate product because you are having a home or cottage here. But we are a life care solution, long-term care insurance option. We are regulated by the state of New Hampshire Department of Insurance as well. Moving to RiverWoods Exeter, we have an entrance fee that is our buy-in or cost to move to the community. Our entrance fee is 90% refundable, so it is very good for asset preservation. So if you're working with a financial planner, they will find that a very good solution to your future healthcare and your future living needs. We have predictable monthly service fees. That monthly service fee includes all the costs of living in the community, from utilities, dining, fitness. And again, the best part of a community is living around others and having that sense of self. And then we have access to unlimited healthcare, which would be access to assisted living, nursing care, and then memory support. And there's no change in that predictable monthly service fee other than the cost of 2 additional meals. When we talk about RiverWoods, again, healthcare resources are a very important component for our residents and future residents and prospects looking at our community. Here at RiverWoods Exeter, we have full access to, again, assisted living apartments. Those are singles or couples, 1 or 2 bedroom apartments. We have access to memory support and nursing care, and those are all private suites in our community. We also have wellness clinics. Those are for our independent residents, staffed by a nurse practitioner, registered nurse, and social worker team. So they will have services such as blood pressure checks, they do flu shots, really your first stop before really seeking any additional care in the community. And I get to really know our residents very well. Residents also have access to respite care in our community. Respite care is you have a temporary stay in healthcare. So if you have a surgery, operation, hopefully not the knee replacement or hip surgery, but any of those services, and you need short-term rehab or to get back to your independent living apartment, you can spend time in our nursing care and healthcare and then go back to independent living after that. We are overseen by a medical director, Dr. Timothy Keenan, who is a local PCP. And then most services are covered by that monthly service fee. Again, as residents transition to full-time in any of our healthcare, we call lodges here at RiverWoods Exeter, that monthly fee would still be covering all those services. We'd like to take now a moment to kind of tell you the evolution of healthcare at RiverWoods Exeter, where we are today and what our future is looking like. So currently today at RiverWoods Exeter, we run 3 healthcare lodges or healthcare centers, one at each of our 3 campuses, the Woods, Ridge, and Boulders. They provide the services such as assisted living, long-term care, and memory support. Currently, we have short-term rehab at one campus, but we are facing challenges like most businesses in the world: staffing inefficiencies, running 3 healthcare centers, limited amenities, and again, our buildings are now coming up on 30 years old. So where RiverWoods is today and where we are going is we are in the process in the next 3 to 5 years of incorporating a centralized healthcare center. The current location of that is going to be at the Ridge campus, very central to all of our entire community. Where residents will have a brand new state-of-the-art healthcare center, or we call lodge, that will provide all the same services from assisted living, long-term care, short-term rehab, respite stays, and again, a very distinct memory support area of that. The benefits of that new community or that new centralized health center are an open design, so bringing nature into that particular space called biophilic. And then state-of-art technology. As we all know, technology can changes much faster than we all think it does. And then taking 3 health centers and making it into one. So really looking ahead in the next 20 to 30 years for staffing purposes to know that we will be able to take care of you here in our community. This is kind of a little update, some renderings of what that new centralized healthcare center will look like. The top left is our proposed, the drive-up area, beautiful buildings that fit right here into the RiverWoods campus. The bottom left is the very open concept design, having a lot of outdoor space for residents to enjoy, terraces, green space. And then on the right is our kind of offering our lobby area. So a lot more open, common space for residents to gather, socialize, and have that sense of community. Now we're going to talk a little bit about services and amenities here. I'll talk some about a particular of these, and then Chrissy will cover some of more of these in depth as we go along. So we have a wonderful flexible dining program. We have 3 dining locations here, 1 at each campus. We'll talk a little bit more about that momentarily. We have fitness centers at each campus, including an indoor pool as well at each campus. Entertainment and cultural opportunities, along with educational opportunities. We have a very busy community calendar that is very resident driven, so we'll talk about that in more depth. We have scheduled courtesy transportation. That is a 25-mile radius of RiverWoods Exeter for things like doctor's appointments, dental visits, pharmacy, going to the local grocery stores, whether it's Market Basket or Hannaford, Walmart, and Target. And then again, that 25-mile radius can also bring you to our local Amtrak station to go in the Downeaster, or even to the C&J bus terminal in Seabrook to take a bus down to Boston to take a flight. We also have the best features coming to a community like ours are no more interior, exterior home maintenance. Here at RiverWoods, we take care of all those services, and that includes snow removal in the winter for all our residents. So we will move your car, remove the snow on a day like this morning, firsthand. Wonderful feature. So if you are currently having to deal with that on your own, coming to RiverWoods, that will be taken care of for you. Utilities are all included, so think of heat, air conditioning, and water services. We talked about our wellness clinic, and then we have a 24-hour security and emergency response with e-call pendants for residents to have that safety feature. If they're in trouble, fall, they hit that button, and someone from RiverWoods will come to their care. We're going to talk a touch about dining here at RiverWoods Exeter. Dining is a very key component to people looking to move to the community. And one thing many people love to give up when they come here. So if you love to cook currently, certainly we have full-size kitchens in our community. If you're a person that is not your favorite thing to do, clearly coming to RiverWoods is a great option for you. So we have a dining program, which is on points, a dining points program that can be used in any of our 3 dining rooms, takeouts, anyone that would be being entertained by you as far as family or friends coming to eat here, and then some catering, and then we have our marketplace called RiverWoods Grocery Items. So we'll talk a little bit about each of those. Residents, again, have options to dine at 5 different restaurants across 3 campuses. A couple of our restaurants have outdoor dining, so if you are a person that loves to dine outside, we have great options at the Ridge and Boulders. We are very sensitive to any dietary restrictions for residents. So if you are vegan, vegetarian, or fall in the category of gluten-free, which many people do these days, certainly our menus are very accommodating to those choices. We have different selections. We have a daily menu that runs each day, and then a seasonal menu that runs each day as well. So a very good amount of choice. And again, we try to source food locally as much as we can. Anything here on the Seacoast, local farms, and across the Seacoast region. So a lot of our ingredients do come and support the local New Hampshire farms. Showing you a picture, this is our Boulders dining room, a very high kind of lodge feel ceiling here. The beautiful stack stone fireplace here in the middle, so a double-sided fireplace. So residents our dining rooms don't require reservations. You can come and sit down. You can dine individually, a group of friends, or at one of our community tables, which means you're open to other people joining you. So again, this is our Boulders dining room menu choice right at the table. So full service operation here. And then over at our Ridge campus, this is our bistro dining area. So this was just developed in the last, over about a year and a half ago, where residents can place their order, sit down, the food is brought to you. So bistro dining, so a little more casual setting, especially for lunch. And some residents will use this for dinner as well. And you can see further ahead is our RiverWoods Ridge dining room, and then out to the right is our outdoor space. We also have 3 country stores in our community. Country stores are, think of it as a convenience store for residents. Great opportunity for residents. These are all resident-run country stores, so our residents volunteer their time to maintain the store. So the stores have everything you need, and as some of our residents will say, if you don't see it in the store, you probably don't need it. So that's a common phrase that we often hear. So everyday items such as paper towels, you'll see cereal, crackers, jams, jellies, batteries, paper, greeting cards. So really a vast assortment of items that residents can just come down to the country store versus going to the local grocery store, Walmart, or Target. Again, very convenient. The charges in here are all at cost and would just go on your monthly service fee if you did purchase anything there. I'm now going to take a few moments of time to turn it over to my colleague, Chrissy, who is going to take you inside the community, around many of the spaces, and answer some questions for you.
Thank you, Dan.
You are welcome.
It's a pleasure to be here with all of you today. And I will be reviewing some of the many activities here, walking you through some of our apartment styles as well. This first picture you're looking at here is one of our main large gathering spaces. This is at the Boulders campus, Boulders Hall. It seats up to 200 people, so it's a wonderful place for hosting lectures, performances. As you can see, there is a stage there, so the people are raised up on the stage, easy to see. We have various resident parties, resident events, concerts, lectures, and community updates. There are 3 of these large gathering spaces, one at each campus. Boulders Hall is the largest, and we also have one at our Woods campus called the Great Bay Room and the Ridge Room at our Ridge campus. You can choose from a wide array of events that are listed on a bi-weekly calendar here, and residents can choose to go to each campus for those events. We have recently hosted, just to give you an idea of what we do host there, our local author Dan Brown, and also had our former presidential candidate Chris Christie there last week. This is a new slide, and I think it's important to highlight. People have asked this question quite a bit about educational enrichment here at RiverWoods. We have an active education committee. It's an all-campus committee. The education committee's mission is to provide enrichment opportunities to our residents through educational programs, lectures, and short courses catering to a wide variety of interests. Both outside speakers and residents here at RiverWoods are utilized. The committee is resident run. They meet regularly to discuss opportunities for lectures, trips, courses, as well as review community duties. And the committee duties, and the committee works in collaboration with our community life staff to both promote the events and to reserve the space on campus. In 2023, looking back, there were more than 20 in-person programs provided across the campuses, and the topics covered a wide variety of interests, including the arts, history, crafts, performances, archaeology, geology, nature, travel, local services and town departments. For instance, our fire department came in and gave a lecture, literature, the environment, issues around aging, and many, many more. You're looking now here at a picture of our library at our Woods campus. And there are libraries at each one of our campuses. They're all interconnected. It's run by, staffed by our residents and run by our very active library committee. And they get together to discuss which new books will be ordered. But they are interconnected. If you're at the Woods campus and you're looking for a book that's not there, you can go to our Ridge campus and our Boulders campus to look for that. The other nice thing about being a resident of Exeter is that we have a fabulous Exeter Town Library. So you would also have privileges there at our Exeter Town Library. It is very easy here to stay active. So no matter what your level of fitness is, we certainly make it easy here. For instance, take a few laps in one of our indoor pools. There's one at each campus. Work out in one of our fitness centers, guided by our trained instructors, or participate in a wide range of classes we have here. We also, if you like to exercise outside, we have a walking group, a cycling group, hiking groups. We have 2 pickleball courts. And between all 3 campuses, we maintain over 4 miles of hiking trails or snowshoe trails, which you can use now that we have snow on the ground. We are looking now at our boulders pool. And so all campuses have a pool, as I mentioned, and you can use all 3 of them for swimming laps, exercise classes, very popular volleyball games that have been created by our residents. And after working out, you may want to relax in one of our hot tubs. We do keep our pools at a comfortable somewhere between 84 to 88 degrees. We want to make sure our lap swimmers aren't too warm and that our people who exercise aren't too cold. This is actually a picture at the Boulders as well of one of our cardio spaces or fitness centers. So if you prefer to exercise on your own time, we provide a wide array of exercise equipment. We do have a wonderful fitness team, and you can actually use them for personal training if that's something of interest to you. So at this point, you have no excuse to get your 30 minutes of cardio in.
So true.
And here is a picture of our happy pickleball players. We now have 2 pickleball courts located at Gooch Park, which is our recreational park located centrally to all 3 campuses. We originally had 1 pickleball court, but it's in such demand now we added another. And our pickleball players love to welcome new players into the group, also ones that have not learned to play yet. We've hosted some instructional sessions for new residents who want to learn pickleball. And our fitness team has actually gotten on the bandwagon as well, and has now created a new master class to get people ready and fit for pickleball in the spring. Now we're going to go to our creative side here and look at some of our creative spaces. You're looking at a picture of one of our residents who had not painted in many years. Once he moved here, he was very inspired by the other artists here. And now you will see him at our Woods campus every morning working on his craft. We also have regional artists who come in to teach painting classes to our residents and our various creative spaces. We have at least 1 art studio on each campus. We also have resident artists who will teach drawing, pottery. Also, our claim to fame are Nantucket basket weaving classes that we have here. Here you're looking at one of our art studios at the Woods campus. This is particularly popular for our painters because it lets a lot of the natural light in through those French doors. But if you're looking at this picture, you can see the wide array of creativity here between the watercolor paintings out there, acrylic paintings, drawing books, and in the lower left corner, you can see one of our Nantucket baskets that's being created there. We also have very enthusiastic woodworkers here. We have a woodworking committee. You see some of the members of the committee here. We have 2 woodworking studios, one at the Woods and one at the Ridge campus. And you can kind of interchange whichever one you prefer to work in. You're looking here at some of our woodworkers who create anything from signs and benches for our walking trails, canoe paddles, beautiful artwork pieces of art on their own, cheese boards, bowls, and cabinets and furniture. You name it, they create it. It's always interesting to walk into the woodworking studios to see what they're doing. Of course, music is very important to us here at RiverWoods as well. And we have a growing population of people who love to create music here. And have formed small instrumental groups, small singing groups, such as our women's barbershop quartet. We had a resident form a recorder group, and a bunch of them learned how to play the recorder and now are creating beautiful music with their recorders. We have a string quartet, a ukulele group. We have resident pianists who will perform in piano concerts. We also have a RiverWoods chorus, which is very popular, meeting regularly on Tuesday afternoons for rehearsal, and they perform 2 concerts per year. And then our entire RiverWoods community is the beneficiary of all this talent as they perform for various functions throughout the year. We also love our gardens here, and I'm sure many of you are interested in knowing what we have for our gardeners here. I know many future residents are leaving large gardens behind, hoping to continue their passion at RiverWoods. So if you love to garden, you can exercise your green thumb in one of our raised garden beds or in our greenhouse at the woods. We have another active garden committee who works alongside with our landscaping team to create and maintain beautiful gardens throughout our campus. And we do make every effort to practice organic landscaping techniques and are always committed to exploring new ways to be even greener in the future. Another interesting fact, or multiple interesting facts about Riverwoods, is we are home to New Hampshire's largest arboretum with over 300 species of trees and shrubs. We also have beehives here maintained by two of our staff beekeepers and our resident beekeepers. And they've been so successful here that we now sell honey in our country stores. And we also have a barn located over at our Boulders campus with 3 goats that we inherited from a nearby farm, which is always a fun place for both residents and families to visit. Now we're going to head into looking at some of our apartments and cottage features. All of our apartments and cottages feature a fully equipped kitchen, individually controlled HVAC, enabled with Wi-Fi. I'm going to point out the solariums. Each one of our apartments here has a beautiful solarium as part of the living room area. Each apartment has a storage area that you can use for kind of your suitcases and seasonal items. We do, as Dan mentioned, have a 24-hour emergency response and safety systems. We have availability for guest rooms at all 3 campuses. And each of our resident is assigned an outdoor parking space. However, there are also different indoor or covered parking options at each campus with varied pricing that you can look into when you're here. You're looking at one of our cottages at our Boulders campus. Each of our cottages is equipped with a 2-car garage. And today we're going to show you some examples of different cottages and various sizes of our apartments. And my light keeps turning off. Right now, here in this picture, you're looking at one of our large 1-bedrooms called a Trillium, located in our Woods campus. And this kind of showcases that nice large living dining space in our large 1-bedrooms, as well as in the background there, you'll see our beautiful solarium, which lets in a lot of light into the room. On our first floor, you'll see there that there is a door that goes into the outside. So all of our first floor apartments does have access to the outdoors. And our second floor or third floor apartments we just have all windows surrounding that solarium to let in a lot of beautiful light. I'll just note a couple of our standard choices that we offer, which you can see the luxury vinyl plank flooring, which allows you to bring in some of your beautiful area rugs. This is the same apartment, actually. You're looking at the kitchen area, which also showcases some of our standard features of stainless steel appliances, a choice of quartz or granite countertop, and it gives you ample space to cook if you still love to cook. This is one of our 2-bedrooms, large 2-bedrooms over at the Ridge campus. It's called a Magnolia. This photo features, again, one of those beautiful large solariums letting on all that beautiful light, shows you some beautiful spacious living and dining areas. And it does give you a peek into that kitchen, which is a nice modern open style and allows you to have a lot of nice counter space. That is one of our samples of granites that you can choose for your counters. I like to show this picture. This is a 2-bedroom over at our Boulders campus, which is called a Cypress. And it just shows you that no matter what, you can bring your home into the community. We worked with designers to create a beautiful neutral palette so that residents can create their own individual space. And you know, often you come from larger homes and you want to surround yourself with your favorite pieces. So they brought in some beautiful bright red furniture to bring in their home that they had created. I also like to show a style of one of our cottage kitchens. So you're looking now at one of our spruce cottages located over at the Boulders. Again, quality cabinetry, stainless steel appliances, and they chose one of our granite options for their countertops. Now we know Riverwoods is a wonderful place to live, but we don't want to limit your life at Riverwoods. We want you to look at the outside community as well. Dan mentioned, we are close to downtown Exeter, about 3 miles from downtown Exeter. We have 200 acres near the Exeter River around our property. Easy access to Portsmouth, half an hour from Manchester, an hour from Boston and Portland by car. But I encourage you to explore the Seacoast online and get a feel for what we have to offer outside of the Riverwoods community. There's so much going on locally, and you'd want to make sure that it aligned with your future goals. I'm sure the planners that you've already done some studies and research on tax advantages, but we always like to point out the New Hampshire tax advantages: no general sales tax, no personal income tax, no capital gains tax. We're top ranked. We're a top ranked New England state and the 5th lowest tax burden in the country. We don't go into too much detail on pricing. We certainly have a full price sheet that your sales counselor would be happy to give to you. But we want to give you a basic summary on this program so that you have an idea. As we mentioned, we have over 40 different floor plans ranging anywhere from a studio to a cottage, including 1-bedrooms, large 1-bedrooms, 1-bedroom plus den, 2 bedrooms, and large 2 bedrooms. And the square footage ranges anywhere from about 600 square feet all the way to 2,000 square feet. So you'll look at the entrance fee for a first person, and that's based on the size of the apartment or cottage, would range anywhere from about 200,000 all the way to $1 million, with a first person monthly service fee, again, based on the size of the apartment, anywhere from about $3,000 to $9,000 a month. If you look at the bottom of the screen here, you'll notice the second person entrance fee. The second person entrance fee is always the same, is not 90% refundable, but is tax deductible. And the monthly service fee for the second person is also the same, regardless of the size of the apartment, about $2,000. So you would add those to your first person entrance fee if you were a couple.
Great.
Now I'll turn it back over to Dan.
Wonderful. Thank you, Chrissy. I know we've been sharing a lot of information and in a pretty short amount of time. And certainly we're going to cover a few more things before we get to questions. But if you are thinking of a question and you'd like to ask, remember to use that Q&A box at the bottom of your screen, as we'll be able to share or answer as many questions as we allot for time. So generally, after people have interest, certainly reach out to your sales counselor, schedule a tour, seeing things in person, meeting some of our residents. We will give you a sense of the community that we are. This picture is a wonderful picture of our bocce ball players. So we have a very active bocce ball program. So active that the residents wear the beautiful fun socks here. You can see striped socks is kind of, I didn't say a requirement, but probably highly encouraged. You'll see in this picture. So again, along with the pickleball, bocce, and all the other fitness programs that Chrissy had mentioned earlier, another way to be part of a very fun and exciting community. We're going to talk a little bit about our waitlist process. So if you do have general interest in RiverWoods Exeter, kind of what are the steps after you come for a tour? So currently at RiverWoods Exeter, and things do change from week to week, month to month, year to year, we do have wait time. So people that are new to looking at continuing care retirement communities might be surprised that we do have a wait list and wait times to come to the community. Currently, those wait times can run from 2 to 6 years based upon the apartment size or the cottage, and based upon the floor plan and any particular attributes that you as a possible future resident might have, whether you like a particular view, a particular floor, if you like a balcony, a porch, a walkout, any of those things. The first step in how to apply is to complete we call a confidential data profile, or CDP. It is a financial qualification process that we will look at your assets, your income, and any liabilities to qualify you for an apartment or cottage here at RiverWoods Exeter. Once you are financially qualified, the second step is placing a reservation fee. Some people might know it as a deposit, along with a waitlist agreement. Those fees range from $25,000 up to $99,000 based upon the particular size of the apartment or cottage. So it's done by category in that particular case. That reservation fee is 100% refundable if you were to change your mind for any reason. There would be a $1,000 cancellation fee, but that larger number would be fully refundable to you. RiverWoods has also created a 4% simple annual interest, so an interest incentive program for you residents that are looking to join our wait list. So your money will make money as long as you move into RiverWoods at a future time. So again, 4% simple annual interest on that reservation fee that you saw above. There are some limits and caps on that, and certainly reach out to your sales counselor to learn more. And then again, a big question many people have is, I'm not ready now, I'm not ready yet. So we are very flexible in our process of when an apartment becomes available. So when an apartment comes available, we will make an initial call out to the person on the wait list to see if you would be ready to move to RiverWoods or to accept an offer on a particular apartment or cottage. If on that call you say you are not ready, it's not good timing, you want to wait another year, for any reason whatsoever you are not ready, you just tell us and we will go to the next person on the list, and you maintain that place on the wait list. So very important to know. If you are ready, you would go through a process of qualification, updating financials. We do have a health assessment that is part of anyone accepting an independent living apartment or cottage, which is both cognitive and physical. If you have questions on a health assessment, again, please reach out to the community for more information. So that is the process that we like to share upfront for people. Again, the first step is financial qualification, reservation fee, and then going to an apartment size down the road. So we are going to go now through a few frequently asked questions. I will take the first one, and I'll have Chrissy do the second one. We'll kind of alternate. So these are questions many people ask on a regular basis. So we thought it prudent to kind of do these for all of you watching today. So it might be something you thought of, or maybe something that you did not think of. So our first question that we were going to cover, because it's a question we get quite frequently here at RiverWoods Exeter or our RiverWoods communities, is I have long-term care insurance policy. Maybe you've had that policy for a number of years, 20, 30, 40 years maybe. And how do I use that at RiverWoods Exeter? As I mentioned when we started the program today, RiverWoods Exeter is an insurance product. So we are basically long-term care insurance as well. So when residents have long-term care insurance policies, we always say, if you are interested, you can maintain that policy. As an independent resident, it really would not come into any effect or assistance unless you brought in home health care. And then as you move to other forms of healthcare or our lodges for assisted living, memory support, or nursing care, you would open up a claim with your long-term care insurance policy provider. They would reimburse you directly. You would still pay RiverWoods your monthly service fee, but again, your long-term care insurance policy would pay you directly for based upon the level of care and services that are provided based upon your policy. We always advise people that are not sure if they should keep their policy because it's two long-term care insurance policies. If you do move into RiverWoods Exeter, please remember to keep that for a period of time, just in the case that you might move out before giving up that policy. I'm going to have Chrissy answer the next question, give you a little more on what happens if one partner or couple is in need of higher level of care.
So that's one of the benefits of living in a continuing care retirement community. And at RiverWoods, if there was an independent, if one spouse was independent and still wanted to stay in their independent apartment, they would do so. The other spouse would then move into the level of care that they needed. So they'd move into one of our private assisted living apartments or one of our private skilled nursing rooms. You could both live happily in each of your own apartments, and you would not pay any additional fees. The only additional fees would be for 2 more meals per day in assisted living or nursing care. But you could remain in your own place and go back and forth between the two without any additional fees.
Perfect. Thank you. Next frequently asked question is, what if I'm not ready to move when you call me about an apartment, and do I go to the bottom of the list? Just kind of explain that on the last slide, but just as a recap, again, if you're on our wait list and get a call from one of your sales counselors and you are not ready, you remain where you are on that list. You do not drop to the bottom. No matter what rumors or things you might hear, you will remain in place. And we go to the next person on the list. If you are ready and go through the offer process again, requalification financially, and that health assessment, that would count as one opportunity. If you saw the apartment after going through that process and decided it wasn't for you, you can certainly decline. That would count as one strike against you, and you would have up to 3 strikes of going through that full process. But from a readiness call over the phone, telling you there's an apartment available, you can do that as many times as you would like. And then I'll have Chrissy answer this last question.
Yes, the last question, how long do I have to move in once I'm offered an apartment or cottage? Generally, you can expect about 60 days turnaround time for refurbishment. So once you've come in, accepted the apartment, made your choices from our beautiful standard options, it will take about 60 days to refurbish the apartment, a little bit longer for cottages. But when that apartment is ready, move-in ready, that's when the entry fee would be due and the monthly service fee would begin. You don't have to move in right away, but that's when you would be considered a resident and when you would begin to pay the monthly service fee and have the advantages of all of the amenities or ability to go into our healthcare if needed.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
So now we are going to, for our last little bit here, we are going to review questions that people have been submitting in the Q&A box. Again, thank you for those who have been submitting questions along the way. If you have a question, you'd like to do that, remember the Q&A box at the bottom of the screen. So Chrissy and I will do our best to answer as many questions as we have time. And then we'll cover a few of our upcoming events before we finish today's program. So we are now going to start taking some of the questions here. Get here. So the first question that came from Paul is, we'll be able to view the Zoom meeting at a later time if we forget something. We do have recorded versions of our program today, as we do try to record them. So if you do not have a chance to see the entire program, just reach out to the sales council. They can send you a recorded version of today's program. So we will take care of that for you.
Dan, I think they're actually will get one automatically sent to them.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, if they've been on this call.
Excellent.
I'll take the next
yeah.
one.
Right
Yeah, let's see. Is the 90% entrance fee refund time limited? No, absolutely not. You would receive that 90% to you if you were to decide to leave our community, or if you you and your spouse passed away, the 90% entrance fee would go into your estate. The local Exeter PCP, primary care physicians, there are some taking new patients. We get a list every month sent to us as an update. And another, so you would be getting that as you moved in so that you could make some calls. But another great resource is our nurse practitioner in your wellness clinic who could help you kind of navigate through that process. There's also a question on the dress code for dining rooms. There is no dress code. We have beautiful dining rooms, but you can come as you are.
And no reservations required too. So just, except maybe a holiday period. So sometimes they will have them there. Next question. We have a lot of Pauls on the call today, so let's do that one. Have you had any flooding issues or being so close to the river? So luckily, RiverWoods Exeter has not had any flooding issues. We have a small river close to the community, which has really kind of become a larger river, but not so close that it's really caused any issues. Closer to the coast, clearly in New Hampshire, the seacoast along the ocean, there's been a lot of water damage in the Hampton area. Or the Rye up towards Portsmouth. But here at RiverWoods Exeter, or any actually our three RiverWoods communities, we have not had any issues with flooding. So we're very lucky. We're very close to a lot of rivers, but not close enough to have any challenges that way.
All right, I will answer this next question. If you want a tour of RiverWoods Exeter, how much time should we plan on? Generally, you want to plan on between an hour and a half to 2 hours. We'd like to give you plenty of time to explore the community, ask any questions that you need. We can certainly tailor the tour to your, what your needs are, but that's kind of the basic time frame.
Perfect. Another question from a Paul. We got a Paul today. Are you planning on building more communities or neighborhoods? And when did you say the new lodge would be built? So great question, Paul. So here at RiverWoods Exeter, the new health center is between 3 and 5 years, plus or minus, based upon some final approvals from the town. Then, of course, the financing part and the final design, but 3 to 5 years on that. Once that takes place or the new health center opens, we are going to be converting the current health centers, one at the Woods, Ridge, and Boulders, to more independent living apartments, plus or minus, I don't want to give you an exact number, but probably 70 to 80 or so, somewhere around there. So we will have a larger amount of incoming independent living apartments in the future, date still to be determined based upon that new health center opening. And the location of the new health center or lodge will be, currently it's planned for the Ridge. There is a building called Campus Crossing that houses RiverWoods offices. That is the current planned location. That building would be removed and a new health center built there. So very central to the Ridge, Boulders, and the Woods campus here in Exeter.
Dan, I'm going to have you answer that next question from Joanne because I'm not quite sure the answer. You may know.
I do know the answer. Perfect. So question from Joanne, can the confidential data profile, we call the financial qualification, be shared with another RiverWoods facility? The goal to be fill out just one if you're undecided between facilities. So the answer is yes. If you choose that you have interest in multiple communities, the same CDP or confidential data profile can be used as long as you give us your permission to do so. Remember, each community is financially independent of each other. So if you were interested in more than one community, we do have some future residents that will place that reservation fee or deposit on multiple communities. One reservation fee doesn't cover multiple. You would have to deposit or place that reservation fee at each community of interest. But yes, one profile is all you would need. You don't need to plan on multiples.
Good to know. I'll answer the next question from
Sure.
Paul. Do you maintain your place on the wait list for more than 1 or 2 times? So I'm not sure if this question came after Dan's explanation, but I'll just delve into that a little bit more. As he mentioned, if it's just a phone call and you haven't been qualified financially or through your health assessment, that it's not considered an offer, and you can say no any number of times over the phone before qualification. If you have been qualified and have been offered an apartment and you say no, you would have 3 times, but it would be 3 times each time you qualified financially and health-wise. And after the 3rd offer that you had decided to refuse, you would go to the bottom of the wait list. I can tell you I've been here for 16 years and that's never happened because most people will not go through the qualification process if you're not ready to come here.
Great thing. Great experience to share in that case. Joanne, I might have answered this as well, but that's certainly fine. I can just update about long-term care policy applied. As I mentioned, Riverwoods is a form of long-term care insurance. So residents that have that, again, when you move into any form of healthcare, certainly you can get reimbursed through your long-term care insurance provider if you still are carrying that coverage. If you are looking to drop that coverage because of Riverwoods and our long-term care insurance type of package, certainly we tell you to keep it for at least a year moving into the community. If you do have more questions about long-term care insurance, certainly reach out to us. We can answer those a little more in depth because it is kind of a tricky question for some people. Chrissy, you want to answer the next question? Okay.
Well, are we able to accommodate EV electric vehicle charging? Currently, we are in the planning stages. We've been going back and forth between residents and the various companies that would provide this for us. There's been some hiccups here and there trying to figure out how this is all going to work. So we're still in the planning stages. I believe we will have that ability in the next couple of years. But I will mention there are quite a few charging stations around the area, just nothing located currently on our property.
Perfect. Thank you. Another question I don't see today, but we are in the process of getting a new cell tower here at RiverWoods Exeter. Cell service sometimes can be a little spotty, so that is something in the works, probably for later 2024, in case anyone's asking. Next question, are the wait times the same for all RiverWoods campuses? Yes and no. So it's a tricky question. Based upon apartment size, Riverwoods Exeter, Riverwoods Durham, very similar in time frames. Riverwoods Manchester probably has a shorter wait list. One-bedroom apartments generally have shorter wait times than larger two-bedroom apartments. Larger two-bedroom apartments at most campuses are going to be the longest wait time, typically. And then cottages, Riverwoods Manchester currently has, I believe, one cottage available. So if you are interested in that, but cottage wait times can run from 2 to 6 years based upon availability. So wait times are somewhat similar, but a little bit different per community. Norma's question, Chrissy, how's that?
Norma, what are the availability of tours of the campus? We will be contacting, one of your sales counselors will be contacting you over the next couple of days just to follow up if you have any other questions. Generally, it's about a 2-week time frame that we can accommodate tours. So if you'd like to come in, we will be calling you and would certainly be able to schedule something at your convenience.
Perfect. Next question is, what is the average, I would assume it's age of our residents here at RiverWoods Exeter. So our average age is close to 84 years of age. We have residents from their late 60s to over 100 that live in our community. It's pretty amazing. People are living longer each and every day. So it's quite a feat when residents hit that 100-year mark. So that is our average age, about 84. And each campus is a little bit different here at RiverWoods Exeter. Again, the best way to learn a little bit more is by seeing in person. We do have a high percentage of couples that live in the community as well. And then our single residents are predominantly more female than male. And a lot of our residents, a very large portion, come from around the New England states, so close to 70%. And the rest of the residents come from all around the country. We have people all the way south to Florida, Texas, out to California. So people that have family in the area, grew up here, went to school here, are a lot of the reasons why people are seeking out our community. Next one.
I'll take Paula's question.
Sure.
Is there a fee to work with a trainer and to attend exercise classes? We have over 60 exercise classes throughout the week at all 3 of our campuses. Those are part of your monthly service fee, as well as some of the master classes that we provide, or we have a time frame, I think every quarter, where they have these short little classes that you can attend just to see if there's an interest for adding a new class to our repertoire. However, if you do want to work with a personal trainer, we do have that available with one of a bunch of our staff, fitness staff members. And there would be a fee to work personally with a fitness trainer. They also do group classes, so that's sometimes a little bit less expensive if you work with a small group of people. But otherwise, if you're wanting to learn how to use some of the fitness equipment, they will meet with you when you first move in, show you how to use the equipment, and even provide an exercise kind of program for you at no extra charge. So you can always do that work out on your own as well.
Perfect. Next question, housekeeping service available? Yes, housekeeping is bi-weekly, so every 2 weeks, housekeeping will come and clean your apartment, generally on the same dedicated days. You'll work with the housekeeping team to schedule that. And then they also do weekly, they will launder your flat sheets and towels. You will launder those and bring them back to your apartment. All apartments, I think this was mentioned earlier, but if not, are equipped with a full-size stackable washer dryer. In cottages, they are side by side. The only exception with those would be studio apartments or very small. So washer dryers are in a lot of our floor plans, and we do realize some of our floor plans online might not show those washer dryers. So please check with us if you have any questions on that. Chrissy, next question.
Okay, hospital. Our closest hospital here is Exeter Hospital, but we also have Portsmouth Hospital in Portsmouth and Wentworth Douglas in Dover. Those are kind of the close hospitals to our location. The emergency care, certainly if there was an emergency, 911 would be notified, and that you would most likely be brought to Exeter Hospital in that case.
Perfect. Next question from William. Will the 90% be used before benevolent care kicks in? So the answer is yes. So if you are in a 90% refundable contract and for some reason you as a resident depleted your funds, you outlive your assets, there could be a few situations that could happen. We do have a benevolence fund here at RiverWoods Exeter. That 90% would probably be first used as to offset some of those costs. If you did go through that, then clearly the benevolence fund, as long as you maintain your assets and didn't gamble them, give them away, certainly it has been used in the past, and that is why the community was built on that mission to make sure once a resident moves in that you will never have to leave. Next question.
How far apart are the 3 Exeter campuses, and is there a shuttle service? Absolutely. It's about a half a mile between the Boulders campus and our Woods campus. So many times during the day, especially, our residents will walk or ride their bikes back and forth between the campuses if they have a meeting or fitness class to go to or want to have lunch in one of the other campuses. However, we do have our campus service shuttle, which can be activated anytime. Just call them up and ask to take you from one campus to the other, and they are able to do that throughout the day.
Perfect. A couple more questions and then we'll wrap up today's thing. The situation with pets. We do allow pets at RiverWoods Exeter. We do allow cats or dogs. You can have up to 2 pets per household. If you do a tour, you'll probably see our people walking dogs around the community on a regular basis. So we are a pet-friendly community. We do have a pet policy that you'll have to abide by. Certainly all residents get a copy of that before they move into the community. I'm going to have Chrissy answer this last question, and then I'll go through a few additional slides.
All right. Average age of people moving into the community, into RiverWoods, is 78. But again, as Dan mentioned, there's always a wide range. Sometimes we've seen some people in their late 60s coming in because they'd rather come into a community with the various activities and amenities that we offer rather than move from, into a condo and then from the condo into our community. So kind of skip that step. And then we have, people who come in, who've always been fit and just haven't felt ready to move into our community yet. And they'll move in a little bit later, but the average age is about 78.
Perfect. So I'm just going to review a few upcoming programs with you as we're wrapping up our 1-hour presentation. Again, thank you everyone for joining us today. Thanks for the wonderful questions that we were able to answer for you. And hopefully you learned a little bit about RiverWoods Exeter. And again, reach out to your sales counselor if you'd like to schedule that tour or have additional questions. Our next upcoming program is coming up on Wednesday, January 24th. This is a 1-hour program from 1 to 2 in the afternoon, is how to live a tapas life and navigating that transition to retirement. We have a great speaker, Andrew Robin, that will be joining us to do that 1-hour program, and certainly will answer some questions. And again, facing that new challenge, navigating through that time that you're going to have more time as you retire, and really what are the insights that he can provide with retirement life. So again, if you're interested, you can certainly register at our new website, riverwoodsnh.org/events. And you can see the rest of it there. We have the QR code right here you can certainly scan, or you can go onto our website to register for the program. If you're interested, again, in learning more about RiverWoods Exeter or any of our RiverWoods communities, please check out our new RiverWoods unified website, riverwoodsnh.org. To request some more information, schedule a tour or a consultation with myself, Chrissy, or my colleague, Lisa, and you can certainly apply to join our wait lists. As I was saying, our new unified website for RiverWoods is riverwoodsnh.org. So it's a great opportunity for check out more about independent living, assisted living, memory care, all those options if you're interested in joining our team or just planning ahead and learning more. Again, riverwoodsnh.org is our new unified website, and you can click into RiverWoods Exeter or Manchester or Durham in our communities area. And then news and events, we have many other upcoming events that you can choose from as well. And then lastly, we like to leave you with our Seniority Authority podcast. We have been really lucky that Kathleen Toomey, this wonderful lady here, our VP of Marketing, now is going to be doing more mission work for RiverWoods, has done a great podcast called Seniority Authority. Just was featured on New Hampshire Public Television this past week. She will interview experts about aging and growing older. It's a great option for you to learn more about different topics. Again, from aging, they're bite-sized episodes, generally a little bit less than 30 minutes, where so she will interview experts in the field of aging. So if you have a chance, check it out at Seniority Authority or where you get your local podcast. Again, we're coming up on the 2:00 hour, so thank you on behalf of myself and my colleague Christy today for joining us, and we hope to see you in the community sometime soon. Have a great day.
Thank you.